we're talking about Teshuvah, from any given thing you can learn how to do Teshuvah and how Hashem looks at things. And happens to be now we're in Parashat Noach. And it says, we're going to learn very soon in depth what it says, but it says, Lo negzar gzar dinam ela la gezel. The decree for the flood was mainly on Gezel. We're going to learn after in the next class in Zera Shimshon. There were many other sins, by the way, but what was the straw that broke the camel's back? Gezel. Gezel is robbery, and stealing, taking, and so forth. And our sage says that's why the Gzar Din came. They did many other things, by the way. Horrible things what they did in that generation. But the thing that really got Hashem going was the Gezel. Now, our sages explain, this is something very important to know because I don't think most people know that. Our sages say clearly a person does Gezel will come back in an incarnation. Chozer begilgul. Doesn't matter what you're going to do, you're going to have to come back here. You know why? To give the money back. So you can do Gezel with 30 cents and you'll have to come back in a Gilgul for 30 cents. And I can't even start telling you examples about Gezel. Gezel, theft is when you break into somebody's house at night and you steal something. This is Gneva. Gezel is that you do it in front of my face and I don't even know that you're doing it. Maybe I'm there, maybe I'm not there. I told you not too long ago, this lady asked me about Gezel. She told me we went on a trip or whatever in America. They stopped in a 7-Eleven to buy drinks. And in the corner there, they have these disgusting hot dogs that are rolling there for like 3 days. You know what I'm talking about? Ugh. But they have there all the bags of ketchup and mustard and whatever. And she told me, we knew we were going to do a barbecue the next day. So we went and took these little ketchup bags. Is that Gezel? I said, this is 100% Gezel. Who told you can take these bags? You didn't buy a hot dog. And even if you buy a hot dog, you're allowed to take a few bags to put on your hot dog. And that's it. You're not coming in now, adding to your picnic. Pay for that. That's 100% Gezel. For a little ketchup bag that costs 10 cents. And this is one example out of many. Even when you go, it's something common, you go to a hotel, they give you soaps, shampoos, and all that. If you take them home, that's Gezel too. Unless you go down to the lobby and ask them, can I take those extra shampoos and soap that you gave me? Person can fail in Gezel for a shekel and will have to come back here in a Gilgul to pay the money back. So most people don't even know how much they're failing with Gezel. It's very important to learn that because you're not an evil person. You're not a thief that you're planning how to break into the house. Or you are in a very calculated. This is something that can happen to any person. As you do something, you go to a store, you take extra napkins. Even something as small as that. You're sitting in a restaurant and you go for the way. You're taking a few extra napkins to put in your bag. Who told you can take the napkins? You're allowed to use it while you're in the store. And many things. I don't want to get into too many examples. You use your own imagination. And if you don't have an imagination, then I start asking and learning what about Gezel, because it's a very severe sin to a point that the Gzar Din, the decree on the generation of the flood, was only because of Gezel, and we're going to learn that in the next class in the Zera Shimshon, what he says. But why is that important to know? Because a person will come back in an incarnation for that. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have to come back and pay that money. Even if it's a shekel, a whole life. Just for that. And I told you maybe numerous times the story with Arizal and the rich person and the bride and how she died and all that, to give back the money. Now, it says about Noach, Ish Tzadikaya. He was a righteous individual. What was the ma'ala, what was the advantage that he had that caused him to be separated from the generation that he was called a tzaddik? Haya metiv lezulato. He went out of his way to do good and kindness to another person, which is the complete opposite of Gezel. Gezel is taking, I'm taking from you, I'm taking advantage of you financially, whatever it is. Gezel can come in many different ways. Gezel can be Gezel Shena. I can be now sleeping and you can come and wake me up. You are doing Gezel Shena. You're taking time from my sleep. So it's not only money, by the way. Sometimes a person is a lawyer, you're catching me in the street. Hey, listen, I have a problem, some legal problem, and you start asking questions. Hey, Habibi, I charge for that $1,000 an hour. Why were you in the street started asking me questions? So Gezel can come in many different ways and forms, and you must know that. But Noach was the complete opposite. Gezel is that you take advantage, you rob, you take something that doesn't belong to you. And Noach was the complete opposite, that the Agle Zulato, all that he cared about is the well-being of others. And that was what distinguished him from the rest of the generation. Metiv lezulato. And of course then he went out of his way, and it says v'mochiach. And he rebuked. He told people, Hashem is going to bring a flood. You're not behaving the appropriate way. So from everything you can learn a lesson. And when it comes to Teshuvah, a lot of people says, listen, how am I going to do Teshuvah for so many things? We're going to start learning also more in depth. How do you do Teshuvah for things that you don't know that you did? You know how many gezel you did in your life? How many times you insulted people? How many times you did things that you don't even know how to start doing Teshuvah for that? We're going to learn that. But right now, what we want to take from that is when a person wants to do Teshuvah, what's the end result of doing Teshuvah? You are called tzaddik. We learned that already many times. It says, Noach haya ish tzaddik. Why ish tzaddik? Haya metiv lezulat. He cared about the others, the well-being of others. Instead of thinking, how can I use you for your money, your expertise, your position in the government, whatever it is, that's the opposite of metiv lezulat. Metiv lezulat is, how can I do something good for you? Now, when I go out of my way to do something good for you, now, by the way, he adds here, umochicham. First of all, he cared about the good of others, the well-being of others, that you are comfortable, that you are settled, that you are feeling okay, and then umochiach. Now, when I come and rebuke you, if I'm doing it for power, control, whatever, that's not really rebuke. The real rebuke is that I care about you. That I care about you and I tell you, don't do that. It's going to cause you problems. Don't steal, don't lie, don't slander, don't do this and that. So you see that what was the advantage that caused Noach to be a tzaddik? That he went out of his way to care about others. So when it comes to your Teshuvah, when a person is busy giving, that he doesn't get affected. That's how it works. As long as you're in a motion of giving, you are not going to be affected from the outside. And therefore, when a person wants to do Teshuvah, don't only think of yourself. Your Teshuvah is not about only yourself. Your Teshuvah is about how can I make another person's life better? How can I make your life better? And by that, I'm going out of my way to better you. So the same way that you do, באותה דרך שאדם מודד, כך מודדים לו. The same way that you give, that's what they do to you. So you go out of your way to do good to somebody else. So Hashem says, I'll go out of my way to do good to somebody, to you. So a big part of my Teshuvah is not only looking inside, what did I do wrong? We do wrong all day long. This will never end. Is how am I doing good to another person? By default, when my mind is constantly busy, and my action is busy, how to do good to you, by default, I'm not going to be busy doing bad. If I'm thinking good about you, I'm not going to think bad about you, to slander you and to lie about you, or to steal from you, to take advantage of you. So when we want to be in a level of ish tzaddik like Noach, as we have to metiv lezulato, go out of your way to do good to others. And then if you want to go the extra mile, then also mochicho, also prove a person wrong, or rebuke when the person does something, but it has to come only from a place of love and caring. If it's coming from just to shut somebody up or to control, this is not rebuking. That's just an ego trip. But you do it out of love, out of concern, then that's going out of your way. It's not so easy to come and rebuke another person, because that person can beat you up, scream at you, insult you, curse you. But if it's coming from your heart, then the person will accept it, and that's going out of your way because you care about somebody else. So the Teshuvah motion is not only looking in, many times the Teshuvah motion is looking out.